This is called Song the Fourth, The Herd. Readers following along may wonder, as they ought to, so as not to blunder, about the turn that I might choose to take for this particular installment. Quake not. The object of my song, society, rendered au courant, as is customary in compelling and contemporary verse, and not to fill a purse or drive a hearse, but to minister, a satiric nurse of sorts, to all our self-inflicted ills, though I shan't gripe if griping pays the bills, nor shed redundant tears when destiny has her way with us, as assuredly she will. Perhaps the vitriolic vet is a fitting nom de plume, or epithet at least for such as me. Society, denuded of its guise, a steel wool capri trimmed with tinsel trappings, is really nothing but a dense herd that's rather fond of coupling. So now to tend the flock, if readers please, for they've incurred aloof and mouth disease, an ailment that spreads like the common cold and brings each docile lamb into the fold. And as per usual, the parasite responsible is humankind, for rust mites of the world are we, infecting all we see, even our beloved humanity. By gnawing freedoms with incessant babble, we turn ourselves to fenced-in sheep and cattle. You wouldn't think there's much that I can do to make mute this vapid hullabaloo, but wait and see your doubts and fears relieved. If pastoral poets are to be believed, then all I should require to cure the sick is a lute, or flute, a stout walking stick, and love for lounging neath the moon or sun, composing lays and crafting saucy puns. In short, a crackerjack of every trade, deemed useless by the pragmatist brigade, is what we need and what I'll strive to be, to reap unspoiled fruit from a fruitless tree. Marlowe would never tell a fabrication, not even to his love, despite temptation, so we can take his word sans hesitation. And thus I'll sport amongst a bed of roses, and weave from rhyme a myrtle-braided kirtle, daubed with balms that fertilize infertile thoughts before they're even voiced. Thus equipped, I'll trust the wound, if readers catch my drift. To stop the sheep from bleating till they're hoarse, the bleeding must be stoppered at the source. By source I mean our gaping blabbermouths, the gash from which dull deluge gushes forth. This may not block the patient from remission, but I'm untrained in surgical precision. A mere soft-spoken bard and not physician, I'm merely mired in metrical tradition. Perhaps that metaphor is a tad impaired. It's inconsistent, trite, a mite unfair, derivative, and logically unsound. Her symbol ship has sailed and run aground on the grim rocks that shelter Plato's coast, a virgin isle, as spectral as a ghost, combed by seabirds that pick at nits and rummage amongst the ship's tonnage for scattered punnage, which, in toto, is parvo in addition to metaphors and wasted ammunition. If nothing else, you'll find that I'm persistent, though verbose and somewhat incoherent. I'm just as much a seashell as P. Shelley, but I can swim, so for me the sea's less deadly. They say a captain flounders with a ship, and when she sinks, is obliged to take a dip, but though I set her course and at her helm steered her to where the waters overwhelm, I'd say her time is come. Abandon ship, she's a shit ship anyway. Just let her slip, I'll epitaph her passage with a quip. Here lies a messenger, a metaphor that sunk and failed to put my point ashore, so drop a tear upon her sodden tomb, and pray I don't determine to exhume. Now that's accomplished, time to wipe my hands and wash away the grains of salt and sand that framed my brawny meta-metaphor, dredged out to sepulture the one before. Apparently, my muse has packed her bags and discontinued her attempts to nag this bashful bard, which readers must have noted, based on certain foreign words I've quoted. My muse is quite the avid Anglophile, and polyglots will tend to turn her smile. She's likely off cavorting with a satyr, as I toil still across this sheet of paper, sowing some seeds of savvy with my pen. So read 'em and reap every now and then, and harvest what you will. Expand your ken. But since a reader only reaps, come time, a plot of paper, brimming with the rhyme of a poet's green thumb, is full laden, fecund with words that shift as the winds splay them. Alone I'll have to struggle with my spade, without a muse to offer me her aid. So now to court and then engage some other hackneyed metaphor. Such are my druthers. What else are poets for, if not to yoke contrary thoughts and things, and thus evoke emotions, to move and be moved in turn? How else can language live, adapt, or learn?